What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here, thanks for stopping by. In today's video we're gonna go over and do a little bit of a help session for some people that are making posts on Reddit. I have this idea that I kind of want to do maybe like a reoccurring video, maybe like series kind of thing, where I basically just scour posts for people looking for guidance on who to 60. I feel like that is probably the most commonly asked question, especially for newer or mid-game players. Who should I 60 next? And it's a really important question because obviously you want to spend your resources, appropriately into a champion that will give you some good value from it. That's kind of the big thing. In the beginning, it's a little bit easier to kind of figure out which champion you want to 60 because you don't really have that many options, but of course you don't want to make a mistake. So I'm just going to try to offer a little bit of insight, check out some questions, and I'm going to try to make this maybe like a monthly thing, kind of like a video series. So if you guys are interested, make sure you guys stick around for all that, and we'll go over some tips and some pointers on how to figure out who to 60 for some of these people. So let's jump right into it. All right guys, so let's go down the list of potential post that needs some help here. So I did check out this one beforehand, so let's hop into this one. Who to 6 star? I'm focused on progressing in clan boss. I currently 3-key brutal, so he's working on clan boss. That's good to know. You kind of need this information when asking who to 60. You just need to show them what you're working on, just so people have more context, so that they don't just pick the best champion to 60, because sometimes it's not really the best. So just looking at his roster here, he has a 60 KO, 60 ninja. These are good clan boss champions, so you're probably looking for a support to take care of these two. The problem is his support are actually legendary champions, which isn't necessarily the best. I feel like Goffred right here, he can work without books, so he can be definitely usable as a 60. He also brings increased defense, but I believe it's on a 4-turn cooldown, which is fine early on. He might be able to support the KO and ninja. I would make a case for Altan as well for his next 60. I don't know if you can book him out. Obviously, it's super early game based on his roster. He probably couldn't book out his Altan, but Altan brings an attack down, which is really, really good against the clan boss. He also brings increased defense. The problem here is that he needs books to reduce the cooldowns. So this could be more of a long-term play, but Altan can actually play up to Ultra Nightmare as well. So he could get some long-term value from him if he doesn't pull like a Demitha or a Man-Eater or anything like that along the way. So I think my next 60 would probably be Altan, and I'll keep an eye out for any other alternatives along the way. All right, let's move on to our next post. So we got who to 6 star. Let's check out this post here. Yeah, so no context here, but just having a quick look at the picture, we can tell it's pretty much like an early, maybe a mid-game player. You can kind of see his RTAC has 165 speed here. It's a little bit of a small picture. Oh, I blew it up. That's good. Yeah, 165 RTAC speed. So it's a pretty small, low speed RTAC, but he does have, pinpoint gear, regen gear. So he's probably in the mid game. He can farm some gear up. Let's see what we're looking at here for the 60. I'm just having a quick look here. So we have DPS. It really depends on the context of what he's working on. Unfortunately, he didn't provide anything. So this is kind of the situation where you don't want to be in. You want to provide some context, right? Hey, I'm working on Hydra. Hey, I'm working on Clan Boss. So if you guys are asking these questions at wherever you are, Discord, Reddit, whatever, don't just ask who do I 60, because people will just give you the best quality champion, but not necessarily the best champion that you need. For example, like in this setting, I really don't know which one to pick. There's a couple different 60s here that actually kind of make sense for him, right? Like he doesn't have an AoE decreased defense. So having that for waves is really good. So Ugo definitely shines there. He could have a reviver. He might need a reviver. So Rector Draft can actually work pretty good. Maybe you need something for Clan Boss, something with attack down. Then you go with maybe Venom Mage, right? So he has lots of options, but he didn't actually specify. So it's really hard to give a clear answer here for this guy. All right, so moving on, next 60 post here, having a quick look here. Again, no context, which really is a big bummer for this guy. Again, kind of a mid-game-ish roster. In terms of who to 60 next, again, we don't know, right? Based on his progress, let's just check out what he needs in terms of filling out his 60s. Right now, it doesn't really look like he has too much. Owella seems pretty good here as like a healer, support champion. Obviously, the books play a big deal here. I don't want him to commit legendary books into a legendary that won't have like massive impact. However, a healer might actually be useful, so Owella might actually be pretty good. He could also think about using Goffred as well. Again, Goffred doesn't need books to be good, so you can definitely 60 him and just chill out until you get another pull or something. So that might be a good spot there for him. He's particularly good in, faction wars or even arena. So a 60 Goffred could be okay there. But honestly, it just really depends on where he needs to progress, right? It's hard to say which one is a clear 60. I mean, Loki brings something that the rest of his crew doesn't really bring. He brings the buff steal, block buffs, AoE. So Loki could be a 60 as well. Again, books do make a big deal for him. But again, no clear 60 here, so really hard to make a decision for this guy. All right, our next poster. Who should go to 60? Asking who should go up best for total game use. I hear you, man. I hear you. Total game use. That's what we're looking for here. So this guy, early game account, definitely. He's got 2 60s. He's got a bunch of 50s here. Definitely recommend making more 60s. He's got an ethos right away. Obviously, either it's got to be a lucky void shard, right? Like, I don't see a lot of void champions here. So it got to be a lucky void shard. Nice AoE nuker. So good 60 paired up with Kale. For a secondary 60, it really depends. But as a secondary 60, I would probably take maybe somebody like Apothecary. He's pretty easy to build. You don't need accuracy on him. Just make him fast. He works in arena, keeps your team alive, healthy, and all that. And he plays generally good in all areas, especially in the early game. Helps you in Fire Knight, Clan Boss, Spider even. It just helps you everywhere. I think right now at this point, I think take the low risk investment, pick up the Apothecary, make him 60. You can even skip the masteries on him if you want. He's going to do a lot of work for you, at least in the early game, at least until you pick up some different champions. Otherwise, I don't really see a clear 60 from your other champions. I wouldn't invest in the rares any more further as you have already. A champion to look out for if you want to start dedicating more time to Clan Boss is probably this guy. I forgot his name, but he has an A1 attack down, HP burn, and damage reduction, I believe, on his passive. So it's actually a pretty good rare. But he just kind of sucks everywhere else, but he's good in Clan Boss only. All right, so moving on to our next guy here. So our next 60 is looking for a Clan Boss specialist here. And his next 60, just looking at his 60s overall, you have Vogoth. That's a decent 60, Rhonda, damage dealer, and then Poisoner with Kale. Decent 60s to start. Just looking over his roster, definitely an early game player still. Not particularly strong in terms of the pulls. He doesn't really have too much in terms of epic pulls that are usable here. All right, actually, I think specifically if you're looking for somebody for Clan Boss, I remember this guy's name now. His name is Coffin Smasher. He has an A1 decrease attack, which is really, really good against Clan Boss. You're going to need that if you want to go into higher difficulty. He also brings the HP burn, and he brings a passive that reduces damage. He's really good for Clan Boss. He's not going to do a lot of damage except for his HP burn, so you really don't need to give him masteries if you're super strapped for energy, for example, because he's just going to be doing damage off of Giant Slayer and HP burns. Just give him accuracy. He's going to do a lot of work for you. He just kind of sucks everywhere else, but I don't really see like a clear, super good 60 here. Like I was thinking maybe Annex. He has an A1 decreased defense, which is going to help out your crew do more damage to the Clan Boss. But he's just a really squishy damage dealer, and you're already sitting on a Rhonda, which is probably going to take your best damage dealing gear. And especially since you're such an early game player, you're not going to have any gear to gear out a second damage dealer anyways. So I think take the low investment champion with the Coffin Smasher. He's going to do some work for you for Clan Boss until you start picking up some better champions. And I think it's a pretty safe bet. Again, you probably don't need masteries on him if you want to keep it real simple. Just give him accuracy, make him decently fast and tanky, and you're good to go with him. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for the video. Just want to keep it short and sweet here. If you guys are interested, or if you guys like this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments below. If you guys don't like it, I'm not going to do it again. But I just feel like some of this stuff, like the thought processes going into, you know, who to 60 and stuff, it might actually help some of you guys that are early and mid game, still having some issues deciding or prioritizing which champion to go for. And hopefully I was able to, you know, iterate what my thoughts are properly in terms of how I determine what I want to do in terms of picking my next 60. Obviously, with resources being top of mind, and obviously like usually general usability of the champion for like duration of time. You want to get good value out of your 60s, especially early on when you're low on resources. So anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you guys enjoy this, if this was helpful. I know this is kind of more like an early mid-game kind of thing, but I know there's going to be a lot of people that maybe ask this question regularly, don't get answered. And this is a way for you guys to kind of teach yourselves so you guys can answer your own questions moving forward. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time as always. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you guys have different suggestions from the ones I posted, let me know as well. Happy to hear it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.